play we're going to look at today is just all slants, and LSU's done a really good job of completing these and finding open receivers on these and really giving their receivers opportunities to work against man-to-man and just press corners. This is kind of my take on it. I hadn't really talked to many people, but this is kind of what we've done in the past and kind of with the different concepts, what I think is probably what they're going off of. But real quick, looking at the single receiver side, we have a slant, three-step slant. Sometimes it's a little bit of a buzz slant where they try to set up that corner, especially when they know it's man-to-man or press corner with that safety off. And they have a shoot, just like they did on that drive concept, just a shoot right there. Now they're working that slant window, possibly with that backer chasing that shoot and then working back into that window, especially if you think about how some teams maybe were playing that drive route, put the corner and safety over the top and run that linebacker. Now you can stand in behind him right there. So that'd be kind of a one high look. Sometimes they even went over there with it when it's too high, especially when they knew the safety was going to play off. And then you look at the three receiver side, you have triple slants, and of course you just read it from 1, 2, 3. Number 3 receiver with the one-step slant, number 2 with the three-step or buzz slant, and number 3 with a square in. The way that we're trying to do is we're trying to make it where those guys all break it at different times so that the quarterback can just look 1. If he likes it, cool, take it. 2, take it if you like it. If not, get to 3 with that square in. But the interesting thing about this was they really never threw it to the number 3 receiver on that one-step slant. And he was open a lot of times. I think with the way that they were reading it, they were wanting to actually read the safeties post-snap. Wasn't really looking for it pre-snap as far as a read, whether it's 1 or 2 high. Because there's a lot of different looks, and I'm sure it's a little bit more complex than what we'll see at our level. But they really never threw that first slant, even though it was open quite a bit, because I think they're trying to read the safeties and then get to whichever side. So they probably felt that first slant was going to be a non-issue because the timing wasn't going to be there if you're reading the safeties post-snap. But anyway, we'll get into some looks. Really positive play. It's simple, just throwing slants, find those receivers, and with the timing and accuracy of Joe Burrow, was a really effective play for LSU this past year. Here's a look from the SEC Championship game where Georgia is obviously in a too high look. Down to 2nd and 10, and right there, ball snap. Joe Burrow's catching the ball. His eyes go down to the field, sees it's a 2 safety look. So right there, he knows he's going to the 3 receiver side. There's the first slant. He takes him. They're running, looks like they're stubby covers possibly. And so now you're hitting that second slant right there, putting on his body low. If you want to miss on a slant, coming towards the middle, you definitely want to miss low right there so the ball's either knocked down. And you can protect your receiver right there. But really, not a huge play, but you can see right there, completion, getting the ball out. Even though Georgia's bringing that corner blitz, it's not going to be able to get there in time. And you can look down here on the bottom side, 2 safety look. Probably could have thrown this slant right here if you would have looked to that shoot and the slant, but went over there with the read for a 2 high look, getting a lot of slants, and is able to take completion right there for a decent gain in the SEC Championship. We have a lot of clips of this play from the Auburn game, and what they have here, it looks like they're possibly rolling to a 1 high look. Burrow still goes to the slant side, the triple slant side, ends up hitting this guy. But as you can see, he's rolling. There is an open window, but he's kind of rolling into that safety. Real accurate ball right there by Joe Burrow, putting it on his body, allowing him to protect himself and get a completion. And we can look up top to see exactly what takes place against this man-to-man. All right, with that slant, he's going to have to go over the top with this shoot. Possibly could have thrown that shoot right there with that bit of a rub and possibly got a first down there as well. But we'll keep looking at a few more plays from Auburn. This look, LSU's in that 20 personnel set, and it's getting Auburn to slide down to a 1 safety look. With Auburn sliding down to that 1 safety look, they're probably going to slide over here to that slant shoot, and we'll take a look and see exactly what takes place. So there's a good buzz release, trying to time it up so he's open when the quarterback's ready to throw. Right there, he possibly could have been the throw, but right here, Burrow's already into his throwing motion, flipping that shoot out there to him, taking a completion. It's not a huge play, but it's getting 4 yards, getting the ball out of your hand and making those D linemen run. If that would have been a 4-yard run, everybody would have been jacked. But right there, 4-yard pass, possibly could have hit the slant, but right there, gets it out in space to his running back, one of the best players on the field. If he can make a guy miss, it could be a big play, but gets the team forward right there, and they continue to move. Good completion on first down. The last play that we saw of Auburn's defense against LSU, this first receiver right here on the slant was open, but they ended up not hitting it. So the next time they come around to it and want to throw this slant, shoot. Instead of calling all slants, what they end up running is this stick concept where it's like double outs, and he's actually coming in almost blocking that corner or running into him at least. So we'll play it. I think what they really want to do whenever, instead of trying to throw that quick slant where it has to be rushed and it could possibly be a high ball that could be tipped, they end up running the stick concept instead, throwing the ball. He's throwing the ball away from the defender, and it's a really good catch right there by the slot receiver, and he's able to get vertical, trying to split those defenders and gets a pretty good gain right there. And we can look down here at the slant shoot, and you can see he's manned up right there. Ball snaps, he's going to have to go over the top of this slant. Possibly could have come down here to this rub route, and if all that's cleared out now, of course you can come back here with this angle to take advantage of that. But that's just the thought that I had on this. Instead of throwing those slants, they'd probably rather throw that stick, easier completion, and it's not going to be one of those things where you have to rush it as a quarterback and then possibly throw the ball high and turn the ball over. Pretty interesting thought right there from LSU. This should be a one high look based off everything we can see here. But really, we'll play it real quick, and you can see once Burrow catches the ball, his eyes are down the field, down the middle of the field to try to confirm that. So now he comes to this free release slant. We got to shoot. Again, free release slants, they're going to take it all day. They're going to find a window, accurate ball in his face mask, and now he's getting upfield for a big play. Again, the most interesting part is just kind of watching. Here's a look of LSU running this out of empty, and all that changes is he ends up running a shoot as opposed to coming out of the backfield. So right there, he kind of paces a little bit, and then he goes to shoot, slant, first slant, second slant, square in, and we'll kind of play it again. It's zero coverage. They're bringing 6. They do a good job of basically sliding to the quarterback's arm so he can roll that way if he needs to. But again, this is kind of obvious that they're not reading that first slant because there's 10 yards of space between them. Should have taken that slant right there, but he doesn't. He ends up going outside and taking that slant, which is fine. Puts it on his body again, accurate throw, make him come down and play, make plays one-on-one with an open field tackle. And you can see over here to the bottom what they have with this rub. He does a good job pacing that. Could have thrown that. They kind of screw it up. They try to switch it off. Could have thrown that shoot, but he ends up going to the triple slants over there and taking the second slant. Or they're really not looking for that number 1 slant, but ends up taking the second slant right there for completion. Here's a look that I think is pretty interesting in the SEC championship. You can see there in quads over here, they've got their running back out here. Looks like it's man-to-man, and they know that he's got a lot of time to work on this slant, and this route is really good, and you can see he's buzzing right here trying to get his hips open outside, and just the timing of it with Joe Burrow knowing that he's going to get his feet set, take that jab step right there. He's taking a couple hops, jabs outside, and creates that space just enough for completion. And you don't have to be open for very long. You just have to be open when that ball is coming out. And the timing of it, as far as when he cuts, knowing that he's got a little bit of time to work against man, trying to get his hips open, get him off balance, and right there, good ball again. Putting it right there on his upfield shoulder so he can take off after the kick. Like we've seen, this is a really simple concept. LSU, I don't think they're trying to throw the number 3 receiver, which is fine. I kind of understand why. It could create interceptions, high balls, making the quarterback rush. So I think they're just looking for these double slants outside from number 2 receiver, number 1 receiver, if it's too high. I'm sure you guys run some stuff that's very similar. Let me know if you guys run this out of trips, if there's anything as far as the little coaching points and stuff that we can add to this. But anyway, appreciate you guys watching.